Did you catch the WNBA shakeup that's got A'ja Wilson absolutely fuming? Sydney Colson, Wilson's longtime teammate and closest ally, just flipped the script on everyone by ditching the back-to-back champion Las Vegas Aces for, wait for it, Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever. That's right, the so-called Aces dynasty is starting to show cracks, and Wilson's fans are spiraling. But here's the reality. Among all the moves the Fever made this offseason, this one might be the biggest. This could be the final piece that pushes Indiana over the edge into true championship contention. Are you ready to see how this unfolds? Let's go. Obviously, you made a big change in leaving the Aces for the Fever. What made you want to join Indiana? Here we go. Sydney Colson stated it was a variety of things. There was a new coaching staff. Amber Cox was a big part of that. Kelsey Mitchell, I played with her for the first 3 seasons. Joanna Bonner and Natasha Howard are players I respected from afar. Enjoy their game. Kate Martin, my teammate from the Aces, obviously good friends with Caitlin Clark. They play together an hour, and she speaks really highly of her. And obviously, we saw the rookie year that she had. Picture A'ja Wilson waking up, checking her phone, and realizing her most trusted teammate is gone. Not traded, not cut, gone by choice. Sydney Colson, a 2-time WNBA champion with the Aces, wasn't just another player on the roster. She was Wilson's go-to, her closest confidant, and the heartbeat of that locker room. But something changed. Colson saw past the bright lights and championship banners in Vegas and started looking elsewhere. Let's talk about Colson's impact. Sure, her stats won't blow anyone away. 2.5 points, 1 assist, and 8 minutes per game last season. But numbers don't tell the whole story. Colson was a defensive menace, a clutch performer when it mattered most. Think back to the WNBA Finals 2 years ago. She was there, making game-changing plays that don't always make the highlight reels but win championships. Her, Kelsey, and Aaliyah, Boston, they had something special the second half of the season, and I just look at them as a young, hungry team. Our veteran president with Joanna Bonner, Natasha, and me coming from winning programs who have been around the league for a long time, that can help infuse something in that team that could take them far in the playoffs, bruh. And here's the twist. Colson wasn't just valuable on the court. She was the glue holding the Aces together. The ultimate teammate, the locker room leader, the one who kept spirits high when things got tough. Every championship team needs that player, the one who makes everyone around them better just by being there. Now, let's shift our focus to Indiana. The Fever are making moves like a team that knows they're on the verge of something huge. Natasha Howard, signed. Joanna Bonner, secured. Sophie Cunningham, added to the mix. And now, Sydney Colson. The Fever are building something special, and they aren't being subtle about it. But the real question is, why did Colson leave a championship-caliber team? Fans are in shock, social media is on fire, and nobody saw this coming. Aces fans are still in disbelief, while Fever fans are celebrating like they just won the lottery. I'm excited for Sydney Colson, and I'm excited for the Indiana Fever because they have an amazing player who is also very hilarious, like one of the funniest people in the league. So really excited. Susie said, imagine the content between Sydney and Caitlin. It's going to be common. Content for days. I know the Indiana Fever front office is it just celebrating because that is a part of it too, is content and having players that are going to be good at that. So come on, Sydney. Here's the bottom line. Colson chose Caitlin Clark over A'ja Wilson. Let that sink in. The player Wilson called her favorite teammate, the one she trusted the most, just packed up and moved to Indiana. This isn't just a roster change, this is a power shift. The WNBA is entering a new era, and Indiana just made it loud and clear. They are here to take over. But this move, it's about way more than just basketball. It's about building something real, something sustainable. The Fever aren't just adding a backup guard for Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell. They're bringing in a proven leader, a defensive ace, and someone who knows exactly what it takes to win at the highest level. And A'ja Wilson, let's just say she's not taking this well. Social media has been in full meltdown mode, with her fans absolutely losing it over Colson's departure. But what is it about Sydney Colson that has everyone in such a frenzy? Let's break it down. On paper, Colson might not seem like a game changer. She's not a volume scorer, and she's not going to drop 30 points on a nightly basis. But that's not what makes her special. She's a defensive disruptor, a playmaker with elite court vision, and a player who can knock down clutch shots when it matters most. Now imagine those skills combined with Caitlin Clark. Or picture Colson taking control of the game when Clark is catching a breather. That's the kind of depth that turns a good team into a great one. Colson's value isn't measured by flashy stat lines. The Fever didn't bring her in to be their top scorer. They already have firepower. What they needed was a player who can lock down opposing guards, make smart plays, and deliver in crunch time. Someone who can step up when the stakes are high and the pressure is suffocating. I hope that some of y'all, if y'all are not familiar with Sydney Colson, I hope y'all, watch some highlights of her, because don't just be like, oh, Sydney Colson, she barely scored last year. She's not good for the Indian, even though she is. She is. Don't worry. But here's what really sets her apart. Leadership. Colson isn't just another name on the roster. She's a two-time champion who has been through the wars and knows exactly what it takes to win. And for a young team like Indiana, that experience is invaluable. She's the kind of player who raises the level of everyone around her. Someone who makes sure her teammates stay locked in when the season gets tough. Caitlin Clark actually spoke on this on Sunday, and she had this to say, quote, "I'm excited. Obviously, we made some great moves. I think Kelly and Amber and the whole Fever organization are helping us to win now, and I think that's really important. I think they're putting really good pieces together that are going to complement each other really, really well." And then she continued talking about Steph, their new head coach, and said that Steph taking over as head coach for us, I think, is going to be really great. A great basketball mind, someone that actually called quite a few of my college games. So being able to build that relationship with her and just be in the gym and work on things that she probably saw when I was a freshman in college. Beyond the game itself, Colson is a locker room glue player. The kind of personality that keeps a team united through the ups and downs of a long season. In the WNBA, where chemistry can be the difference between a playoff push and an early exit, that kind of presence is priceless. And don't underestimate her ability to deliver in the biggest moments. Colson has been there before, knocking down clutch shots, making game-saving defensive stops, and thriving under playoff pressure. When the lights are the brightest, she doesn't back down. She steps up. That's exactly the type of player you want backing up your stars. While everyone's busy analyzing the biggest off-season moves, don't overlook the significance of this one. Sydney Colson might just be the most underrated addition to the Fever's championship blueprint. Indiana didn't just sign another player. They secured a winner, a leader, and a critical piece to their long-term success. Now, take a step back and look at the bigger picture. The Fever aren't just stacking talent. They're building a winning culture. They're creating an environment where elite players thrive, where competition fuels growth, and where every addition brings them closer to contention. And Colson is a massive part of that. She's the steady presence that will help keep this team on track, the veteran voice that ensures their young core stays locked in. Imagine this scenario. It's the final minutes of a close game. The crowd is on its feet. The tension is sky high, and there's Sydney Colson, calm under pressure, making a clutch three or forcing a crucial turnover. That's the kind of moment she lives for. And now, she's doing it in a Fever jersey. Here's what makes this even more exciting. Colson isn't just here to support Clark and Mitchell. She's here to elevate them. Her experience, her high basketball IQ, and her championship mindset will have a ripple effect throughout the entire roster. Now, let's shift focus to Las Vegas. Just a few months ago, the Aces looked untouchable. They were the reigning champs, the dominant force in the league. But suddenly, cracks are starting to form in their foundation. And this isn't just about losing Sydney Colson. It's about what her departure symbolizes. A'ja Wilson's fans are spiraling, and it's not hard to see why. It's one thing to lose a player, it's another to lose a key piece of your team's chemistry and leadership. Some Aces fans are taking this especially hard. One fan summed it up perfectly. "This just hurt my feelings." Another took it even further, saying, "Guys, it's over. Just give the Fever the title now." Talk about an overreaction, but also Maybe not, because let's be real, this isn't just about one move. This is about momentum. Indiana is stacking pieces, building towards something bigger. And Las Vegas, they're watching their championship culture start to slip away. The Fever aren't just a team on the rise, they're coming for the throne. And with Colson now in their corner, the Aces should be very, very worried. Aces fans are spiraling, pointing fingers at the Fever front office for allegedly building a super team in Indiana. But let's get real. It's a front office's job to build the best team possible. No one was crying foul when the Aces built their roster with 6 Olympians. Now that the Fever are making moves, suddenly it's a problem. Sidney Colson's departure isn't just a small shakeup. It's an earthquake rattling the entire league. And the aftershocks, they're shifting the balance of power in ways no one saw coming. Let's break it down. Colson leaving is just the tip of the iceberg. The Aces have also lost Kelsey Plum, one of their most impactful players. Their championship bench, gone. Their rookie standout Kate Martin, living the life in Golden State. 2 assistant coaches and their GM, also out the door. And let's not forget the ongoing lawsuit from Dearica Hamby. It's like watching a dynasty crumble piece by piece. Meanwhile, over in Indiana, the Fever are riding an unstoppable wave of momentum. Caitlin Clark's arrival was already a game changer. But now, it's like the franchise has been catapulted into an entirely new era. Analysts are no longer talking about them as an up-and-coming team. Some are even predicting they could win it all this year. From a team that won just 5 games 2 seasons ago to a legitimate contender, this isn't just improvement. This is a full-scale takeover, and it's not just about the roster on paper. The Fever are winning where it matters most, with the fans. Ticket sales are through the roof. Jerseys are flying off the shelves. Media coverage is at an all-time high. Caitlin Clark and this revamped Fever squad aren't just making noise, they're becoming the heartbeat of the WNBA. So, are we witnessing a shift in power? The Aces, once the undisputed queens of the league, are suddenly looking over their shoulders, and the team catching up? The Indiana Fever, powered by the unstoppable force that is Caitlin Clark. They are giving their star, Caitlin Clark, all the pieces she needs to be successful, and you have to clap for that, because this is what you do when you have superstar talent. You build a superstar team, and this is what the Indiana Fever have done. What does this mean for the upcoming season? The Fever have transformed from scrappy underdogs to serious title contenders in record time. They've got the talent, the momentum, and, with veterans like Colson joining the mix, the leadership to back it all up. And the Aces, that aura of dominance, gone. Their grip on the league is slipping, and Clark's star power isn't just lifting the Fever, it's shaking up the entire WNBA. Imagine the Fever with Clark running the offense, Kelsey Mitchell slashing to the basket, Natasha Howard and Aaliyah Boston controlling the paint, and Dewana Bonner locking down the league's best players. Then off the bench, you've got Sophie Cunningham, Lexi Hull, and Sidney Colson bringing intensity, range, and hustle. This isn't just a well-built team, it's a matchup nightmare for every opponent. And the scariest part? This squad is built to dominate both now and in the future. But the biggest question remains, how will all these pieces fit together? Individual talent is undeniable, but the Fever's championship potential will hinge on chemistry. Can they take all these weapons and mold them into a cohesive force that runs through the league? As the 2025 WNBA season approaches, excitement is building. The Indiana Fever, once an afterthought, are now a serious threat. Caitlin Clark's confidence in the team is contagious. I think they're putting together a really great group that's going to complement each other well, Clark recently said. And it's not just the players who believe in this team. Analysts are taking notice, and predictions are rolling in. Many believe this blend of young stars and experienced veterans is the perfect formula for a deep playoff run. Meanwhile, the Aces, they better watch their backs. So, here's the real question. Are you ready to witness a changing of the guard? Because this season, the WNBA might just crown a new powerhouse. The battle lines are drawn.